We've all been sold this huge idea about our careers. It's probably one of the biggest pieces of advice we ever get. But today, we're going to dig into why that advice might actually be setting us all up for failure. Let's talk about the giant gap between the dream job and, well, reality.
Yeah, this one. You've heard it a million times, right? It's been hammered into our heads by everyone. Career counselors, motivational speakers, you name it. It's become the golden rule. Your job has to be your passion.
I know, that sounds pretty harsh, but just stick with me for a second. What if this one little phrase is actually the root cause of so much burnout, so much disappointment, and even exploitation in the workplace? Let's break that down. All right, first up, the hidden price tag that comes with a so-called exciting job. You see, there's a premium you pay for that cool factor, and it's not just about money. Let's just call it the dream job surcharge. I mean, think about it. Companies in gaming, fashion, sports, they know there is a line of people around the block just desperate to work for them, and they can use your passion as a bargaining chip against you. Because if you won't take the job under their conditions, they know the next person in line absolutely will. And this is what that surcharge actually looks like. It's a passion tax. Companies can get away with offering lower pay, expecting tons of unpaid overtime, and sometimes even turning a blind eye to toxic managers. And the justification for all of it? Hey, you get to work at your dream job. But this, of course, leads to insane turnover as people burn out and realize the dream isn't what they thought it would be.
Now, you might be thinking this is all just, feelings and anecdotes, but the data. Oh, the data tells a really fascinating story. You'd think that the most innovative, the most exciting companies would pay the most, right? Well, that's not always how it works.
Okay, just look at this. It's pretty wild. Back in 2018, the median employee at what you might call boring car companies like GM and Ford made a lot more than the median employee at Tesla, which is, arguably one of the most exciting companies on the planet. It just proves a simple rule. The more people want to work somewhere, the less that company often has to pay them. So that's the economic side of it. But there's also a biological reason, a scientific reason, why even a dream job can start to feel like an absolute nightmare. And it has everything to do with the wiring inside your brain. Let's talk about dopamine. We hear about it all the time, but it's not just about pleasure. It's the chemical that literally drives you to seek out rewards. Your brain is a dopamine-seeking missile. When you finish a task or learn something new, you get a little hit of it. And that little hit makes you want to do it again. It's the engine of motivation. But here's the trap we all fall into. Our modern world has created a constant dopamine feast. Every ping from your phone, every swipe on social media, it's a tiny, easy hit. Compared to that, real, focused work can feel like a dopamine famine. The reward is so far off, it feels uncertain, and it takes real, actual effort. And so many of these high-pressure, passion industry jobs are built for this famine. You're grinding away on these huge long-term projects with no sense of completion, no immediate feedback. Your brain, literally starving for those little, rewarding dopamine hits, just starts to check out. That feeling you get, that's not you being lazy. That's your biology screaming for a reward. Okay, so if the dream job can be a biological and economic trap, what's the alternative? Well, this brings us to the secret power of the so-called boring job. And it's not about being uninspired. It's about finding a satisfaction that can actually last. Think about it. Boring companies can't just rely on their cool factor to attract people. They have to compete on things that actually matter. That usually means higher pay, more predictable 9 to 5 hours, and much clearer boundaries. There's way less pressure for your job to be your entire identity, which ironically can make you so much happier. And this is huge. You've heard the saying, right? In those stable, boring companies, you're just more likely to find experienced managers who've been around the block. They're secure, they've seen it all, they have less to prove. Now compare that to the high-pressure, high-turnover places where your manager might be just as stressed out and new to this as you are. A good manager can make literally any job feel fulfilling. But look, this isn't about telling you to choose a boring job over a passionate one. Not at all. The real secret here is that you have the power to make any job more engaging. It's not about finding the perfect job, it's about learning how to engineer it. This is the most important part. You can take back control. You can literally hack your brain's own reward system to find satisfaction in the work you're already doing, whether that's coding for a bank
Or yes, designing a video game.
And here's the playbook. It's so simple. First, break those massive projects down into tiny, bite-sized tasks. Your brain loves the feeling of finishing things. Second, create a dead simple reward system. Seriously, the physical act of ticking a checkbox on your to-do list gives you a tiny dopamine hit. Then use focused sprints, like the Pomodoro technique, 25 minutes on, 5 off, to make it a game. And finally, find a way to connect what you're doing to something bigger you care about. You see what's happening here? You're turning that dopamine famine into a steady, sustainable source of motivation. You're feeding your brain this constant diet of little rewards, and you're rewiring it to connect effort with satisfaction. You're turning the grind into a game your brain actually wants to win. So what's the big idea when we zoom all the way out? It's realizing there isn't just one right way to have a fulfilling career. In reality, there are two totally valid paths you can take. Path A is the one we always hear about. Your job is the source of your passion. That's great if it works. But Path B is just as awesome and just as powerful. Your job is the engine that funds your passion. A stable, well-paying, low-stress job can give you the time, the money, and the mental energy to go after what you really love outside of those work hours. And that leaves us with a totally different question to ask ourselves. The question isn't a simple, do you love your job anymore? It's this. Is your job the source of your passion, or is it the engine that funds it? And once you know the answer to that, you'll have a much clearer path to a happy, fulfilling life on your own terms.